Ladies and gentlemen, it is your host, Andre Norman, president of Second Chance University. I am back in the building. We are here, and it's for one reason, to bring you some game. I was just in here yesterday with the big homie, Dominic, shooting a video. And I went to the house, and I got a call. My brother, I call him Pastor Jay Hackett. His name is Jay Hackett, you know what I'm saying? The money man. But we went to Louisiana together. If you were in Louisiana DOC, you saw this man come down. I was like, Dre, I'll come with you. Come on. We invited him to DOC. We went down. I don't know nothing. It was one of them experiences people had with me. Yeah. We hand him the microphone, right? And we sat out like, he's going to share his testimony. He's going to say a few words about finances. I know you do finances. Yeah. Man, listen, told her. I said, his mom's in a row back. He started shouting and screaming. I'm like, hold up. He's officially Pastor Joe Hackett with me, man. He gave one of the like super dynamic sermons I've seen. Man. And I've been out with Bishop Charles Blake. I done been with T.D. Jakes. I done been with Miles when he was here. God bless him. John Gray. Man. He was up in that space.
Wow. It was dope to be there. I don't use notes and I don't write out messages. I just kind of talk from the heart. So I was nervous because it's you. I know you'll play those games.
Dudes in the audience.
Yeah, and I'm like, and the guards stand all around. I'm like, man. But I started just sharing, my experience in prison, and then just that's the fact that there's a lion inside of everybody that's just waiting to get out. And even if the bars are trapping your body inside, nothing can trap your mind inside.
Yeah, I was about to call animal control because you got loose.
I was trying to make sure we didn't get in trouble. Just matter of fact, when they started roaring, I was like, man, I hope we don't get in trouble.
The warden got into it. The warden's like, yo, that dude, they listen, the warden was loving you.
Man, but it was life-changing. Are there Louisiana folks?
Louisiana, 100%.
Man, it was great to be with y'all. Y'all be encouraged. It's one thing to go in and think that you're going to bring change, but I really think like that experience changed me because I was able to see. Now I was in federal prison. I didn't do state prison, but man, just the way
you uppity? You don't want them uppity? I was in federal prison. I'm saying prison. We were playing miniature golf.
I heard about state prison. I heard about it.
Heard about the guys in the bottom of the trenches. Y'all the guys not in the trenches. We heard about y'all. I was up there playing mini golf and tennis.
Did
they have a miniature golf at your yard?
Yes.
And tennis?
No.
Yes, pickleball, y'all call it.
Yeah, yeah, but just the brilliance that was behind those walls and the creativity. Like when we was on the yard and the dudes started, they was singing and rapping and making their own music. I was like, oh, this is crazy. It's just amazing what you see.
Yeah, it's one of them scenarios where I knew I was smart, but prison had to slow me down enough to catch up to myself.
Wow,
and I wish I could have learned these lessons without being confined.
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah, me too. Matter of fact, before prison, I was, by nature, I'm a workaholic. Like, I work all day and all night. But I enjoy it. It's, fun to me. However, the first business I started, I became a slave to the business. I had no life outside of the business. Like, I would sleep with my phone under my pillow. And I hate to hear phones ring, but I could feel, not on vibrate, I could feel my phone about to ring and answer it. Even if I was asleep. It was crazy. It was crazy. But when I was in prison, I learned just to reorganize my life, to build my business around my life instead of my life around my business.
Got you.
And it changed everything for me.
And ladies and gentlemen, his business is why we're here today. Brothers in New York have asked me, brothers in Florida, sisters in Arizona. I was just in Texas. They was asking. Yeah. And when you came to the house, I was like, man, we got to do this. Called the studio. I was like, yo, we got to do it.
Yeah, you called right then. I'm like, man, you don't wait for nothing.
Listen, brothers need this information right now. Uh-huh. Sisters need this information. Some people are going home.
Yeah.
This week. I know there's a lot of people doing a long time. There's some people going home this week. Mm-hmm. So they need this before they leave. They can't get it next month. They won't be there. So, Brother Jay Hackett, what he does for a living is fundraise. He raises money, writes grants, does sponsorship deals with companies and agencies around the world to fund people on the ground.
Yeah.
So how much money would you say you've raised totally, just in total?
$62 million.
$62 million.
Yeah.
How much did you have to give back?
None. it's fundraising. Yeah. To clarify, it's not my money.
No.
But it's money I raise for agencies, help them raise. For example, this summer I helped a school get $4.2 million. They needed a building. And so I wrote for them to get a building. Early this year, one of my clients, we did a partnership grant for $15 million. $2 million of that came to us, but the greater part of it was split between the partners. But yeah.
And for the record, I signed up. I am officially one of his clients.
yeah.
I'm officially a client.
Yeah.
But the reason I want you to come on here, because we're gonna go back to the basics. The 62 million is great. The 15, the 4, the 4.2. We want to start from the level of I'm sitting in a prison cell.
Yeah.
We understand that. I got this idea. I want to do this nonprofit because I heard that's the way to get stuff done. And people think you accept the nonprofit, money falls out the sky.
Yeah.
You want to handle that misnomer. And then what can they actually do moving forward?
Yeah. The first thing that people have to realize is that it is simple. You have to keep it simple so it don't get complex. It's not always easy because people make it complicated, but it is simple. And this is what you have to do. A grant and fundraising is based on 3 things. Number 1, the mission of your organization. Number 2, the funding source and what they want to give money out for. And then number 3, the driving problem in your city or your county. And so the mission statement is what you come up with. That's there. The funding source is wherever you want the money from. So if you want a grant from Bank of America, you have to look and find out what they prioritize. If you want a grant from Coca-Cola, you have to look and see what they prioritize. But then number 3, and this is the secret that most people miss, and they fill out application and don't even pay attention to it. And then they wonder why they don't get funded. It's because they haven't tapped into a citywide or a county-wide problem. And so you don't want to make up a problem. You can actually just look at the city's plan, look at the county strategic plan, and they have outlined what they know their problems are, and they have money for it. So all you got to do is say, I want to address problem number 3. You have a problem with homelessness? I have a solution for homelessness. You have a problem with low income housing? I have a solution for that. You have a problem with youth getting in trouble? I have a solution for that. Whatever the problem is, I have a solution for it. And with these 3 things, you incorporate that into your grant, you're more likely to get funded than not.
Now, I used to write grants back in the day. I'm saying my first 4 years, I did 25 million in-house. We generated sick numbers in the billions going out. We created stuff that the feds picked up. George W. Bush took on one of our programs called the Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives.
Yeah.
We created that.
Okay.
And that funded churches all across the country.
Yeah.
The violence interrupters, I created that. That's getting funded all across.
My county has violence interrupters.
Ain't no
I
question.
didn't know y'all created it.
I created it. It wasn't no we. Me and my little brother Dunn. Shout out to my brother Dunn. We sat down and we came up with that. We were the first 2 violence interrupters. So me, Dunn, Fever, D-Wop. You know what I'm saying? Who else was with us? PV, Jimmy, it was like my man SDB. It was like 7 to 8 of us, you know what I'm saying, who got together and we started that movement. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm missing some brothers, but I'm going back to 99.
Right.
But those were the core cats. You know what I'm saying? My brother Tony, big time. We were all in there. We did it. Then the city took our motto and ran with it. But the baseline is we've created that lane, which has created hundreds of millions of dollars in funding.
Yeah.
Faith-based, hundreds of millions of dollars in funding. We took 25 million in-house, and the rest is you can create a lane around a lane.
Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely.
What does that mean, right? Everybody wants to work with at-risk youth. I'm going to go work with the at-risk kids. I came home with the same, I'm going to work with at-risk kids. Grant would come out. We show up. The YMCA would show up. The Boys Club would show up.
Yep.
Catholic Church would show up. The local nonprofits would show up. The Black Church would show up. And then there's little old us. And it said at-risk kids. They were targeting gangs, but they would say at-risk in the paperwork. So everybody applied. I'm not bigger than any of those other entities, and they would win. But then they would take the money and go get the suburban kids or the kids from the private school.
That's how they do.
In the hood. So I, after 3 or 4 times with that, came up with a concept called proven risk youth. Proven risk youth are kids who've been convicted of violent felonies, had gun charges, had murder, attempted murder charges. I defined the lane. I wrote the paper. I submitted it to all the foundations so they couldn't do the bait and switch game no more. They would release money for proven risk youth. So knocked out the YMCA, knocked out the Boys Club, knocked out the church, knocked out the other nonprofits. It was just me, us, and other nonprofits like us that work with kids with guns that could apply.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've done.
You have to do that. Like you have to carve out a lane within the lane. Otherwise, you're competing against people with big budgets, big offices,
big staff.
Big staff. But if you can take your expertise and creatively, and that's what I realized about a lot of people that are incarcerated. They're more creative than average people. Definitely more creative.
Have to be.
You got to be. I mean, there's just some skills you learn.
If you got wine in the wall, you figure out how to get a phone over the fence.
Man, yeah.
Moving notes and kites up and down.
Creative.
We
Absolutely.
send messages through the toilets. In Terre Haute, Indiana, we had a message system. We was like 4 or 5 tiers high in the hole. So if you're upstairs, we used to rip the sheets up, excuse me, and tie the little lines. And then everybody worked together. The white guys, the black guys, the Spanish guys, people hated each other. We worked together with the phone system. You're downstairs on the first floor. I'm upstairs on the 3rd floor. I'm trying to get something to you, whatever it is. So you would clear the line. You would flush your line with a bunch of forks down the toilet. Then the guy on the 1st floor would flush his line, and they'd go down the pipe. Then they would go down the main drain, and they would tangle up. Man. And once they tangled up, we could tug. I could feel your tug. Then you put whatever you got on your end, and I pulled it all the way through. Clear the line. And there was never a beat.
That's wild.
Dude, it was. Then there was the dude, the highway robbers, be trying to beat you for your life. There's always that guy.
Yeah.
But literally, we would communicate through the toilets.
Yeah, but I learned micro writing when I was in prison. I never knew how to do it. They're like, man, you wasting paper. but now this idea of taking your creativity and your genius and focusing it, like instead of being the broad floodlight, taking it and being laser sharp. And if you can learn how to do that, then when it comes to grant or any type of competitive writing, you can get buildings donated, you can get money donated, you get supplies donated for your programs, and out of that program, you can set yourself a salary. It'll pay for like your cell phone, your office expenses, a car, all that stuff that you need in order to run the business. You can run it because of the grant funds, but you got to be able to. You have to be willing and be bold enough to say like, this is me, this is what I do, and can't nobody do it like me.
So I'm gonna back up. I'm the guy or the sister sitting in the cell. I got this idea. I want to help kids. So I just want to help. I want to help. I heard this. I hate to say where I go. I used to say it. I want to help the next generation not be here.
Yeah.
Is that enough to get a grant?
No, that's not enough. Saying I want to help the next generation, I want to help kids, I want to help somebody not get here, that's not enough. What you need to do, and I would say it this way, kind of if we can do it as an activity, take a piece of paper and just write down all of the things that you can help somebody do, not just help you not be here. I can help you make better decisions. I can help you. I want to help you choose a different job. I can help you, take care of your grooming. I can help you with your self-esteem. Like list out all the things, because these are actually the things that kind of get people in the wrong direction anyway. Like if you don't know how to make money in legal ways, you'll make money in illegal ways because everybody needs money to survive. So if you have ideas about art or music, if you have concepts on business, if you have strategies on how you evaluated people, like I think, people talk about drug dealers a lot, but I think drug dealers happen to be some of the most brilliant people in the country because you have to manage human resources, risk management, financial management. You do all this without writing anything down. You get what I'm saying? If you can list out all of the things that you're good at, then when you get out, or even when you look at the news, start identifying the stuff that you see being reported, the stuff that you see being talked about in the newspaper, and then you make that connection. If you can make the connection between your specialty and a known problem, then you're on the way. But you can't just say, I want to help in general. You have to say, I'm going to help in this way.
Now, 2 things. When you make that list out, think about you as a 6th grader.
Yeah.
Me in the 6th grade, I was a free lunch kid, so I was embarrassed about free lunch. I used to wear dirty clothes to school, so I was embarrassed about wearing dirty clothes.
Yeah.
I didn't understand hygiene. My dad wasn't in the house, whatever the reason. Nobody taught me. Nobody bought deodorant.
Right.
So from the time I'm born to the 6th grade, nobody introduced deodorant to me, so I don't know it exists until I get to the 6th grade and people start clowning me for smelling bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the matter? And because in middle school, in elementary, we just played all day. Nobody said anything.
Yeah, nobody said nothing.
So teaching hygiene. So if I'm making mine, dealing with embarrassment, dealing with depression, dealing with hygiene. Don't take for granted that every 6th grader understands hygiene, because I did not. Kids clown me because I'm like, what? And
Yeah.
Somebody finally told me, this is what this is. This is how this works. I asked to get clothes out of the dirty hamper because we didn't wash clothes in my house.
It looked clean.
No, it wasn't clean. It was just, that's what them clothes were.
Oh.
We would wear them, throw them in the hamper.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about wet towels, wet socks, everything in the hamper. Then I run out of clothes because all my clothes are gone. I'm like, well, where are my clothes? They're in the hamper. So I'd go back to the hamper. Now my clothes have been in there with wet towels and pull it out and putting it back on. I didn't know how to wash clothes.
Yeah.
So I just wore the clothes I had. So I'm wearing clothes 4, 5, 6 times over and throw them in the hamper for 4 or 5 days in between. That was not a good look.
Yeah, not or a good smell.
Oh, it definitely wasn't a good smell.
But if you take that approach, think of yourself as a kid, think of yourself as a 6th grader. What did you need? Please go back and be self-reflective and tell the truth, man. Yeah.
I know y'all weren't born millionaires. I wasn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
So developing your idea.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing, get the piece of paper. I'm gonna ask you this question. You're gonna answer for them.
All right.
You work with black people or white people? Pick one.
I guess I work with black people.
Men or women?
Men.
Been in jail, not been in jail.
Been to jail.
18 to 27, 27 to 40, 40 plus.
27 to 40.
So now, when you're writing your grant, black men, 27 to 40, been to jail, high school dropout.
Right.
We can find him. When
Absolutely.
you say I want to get everybody, you get nobody.
Yeah.
So-
you got to focus in. And you have to be willing to say, I don't help those people. I help these people. It actually elevates your value.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that if somebody not in your, it's called an avatar.
Right.
When somebody who's not 27 to 40, male, been in prison, high school dropout shows up, you can help them.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go out to the world, you know what I'm saying, Rolls Royce will sell a car to a homeless man if he got the money.
Yeah.
But they'll never advertise to a homeless man.
Yeah, they're not advertising to them. I'm the founder of Black Wall Street. That's the name of my nonprofit, and we help people start, grow, and expand black business. And people wondered, like, when I first started, like, can a white person join? Like, sure, but we're not talking about white things. We're talking about black things.
Right.
Anybody can join because we're not going to discriminate. But our focus is this, and it so happens that no white people joined. The white people that participate in Black Wall Street, they're partners. They are volunteers, they're allies, they're funders, they're supporters, they're donors, but they don't come and consume our information. They actually undergird and become partners and mentors, or some of them become.
I've been to West
qualified.
Virginia. They got some people to qualify.
Yeah. But what ends up happening though, we elevate our value by having a specialty, and it drives our focus. So anything that comes through the city that deals with entrepreneurship, and they want to, or we make it highlight black people, then we're the only ones.
I would say this to people, like, you get it. I always got I'm a sports guy. If I'm doing something around shooting in the NBA, who do you go get?
No, I don't.
Steph Curry. Get Steph Curry. It's like, if we're talking shooting the ball, long range,
Well,
Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a no-brainer. There's nobody in the world of athletics, player, non-player, best shooter in the game, Steph Curry.
That's it.
So when you're putting together a team, I want a shooter. Steph Curry's the first choice.
Yeah.
Now, can he do other stuff? Yeah. But why are you getting him? Because he has a specialty.
There's specialty in that.
And-
Matter of fact, I was invited to speak for a conference, and I couldn't make it in person, so they said they still wanted me to speak, but virtual. So I spoke for the virtual conference. It happened to be a whole bunch of bankers in the room. After the conference, one of the bankers reached out and asked me if they could sponsor anything I was doing. I said, sure. And so we went to lunch, and they said, well, can I sponsor this? Are y'all accepting? I said, yeah. She said, well, I can do 10,000 for this and 5,000 for that.
You know what happened?
Okay.
What happened to you, what happened to me in my first speech. I went on stage. I talked for an hour about working, doing all the work that I do. I came off stage. They said, hey, we got some kids in Florida. Can you come talk to them? I'm like, of course, that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't say it.
Uh-huh.
I didn't say I actively work with kids. You didn't say we're taking money.
Right.
We're open to take money. So you have to be specific and intentional. Don't assume that they're going to fill in the blanks, even as simple as you want money or you do a specific thing.
And sometimes people, there's like these two groups of people that I found. Some are afraid to ask for money, and some only ask for money. And those are two like big extremes. The people that are afraid to ask for money never get anything. The people that always only ask for money, they're aggravating. What you want to do is determine your specialty and give, but let people know this is how you can support. This is how you can participate. I'm going on a speaking tour. Is there anybody, any company that wants to sponsor my speaking tour? And by sponsorship, because some people might not know what sponsorship is, that's where you go and you speak, but there's somebody's banner behind you, somebody advertises with you. It's the equivalent of when you're on the radio and they say, let's pause to pay the bills, like the commercial breaks, something like that. I went to speak for a church conference, and because I was speaking during the daytime, not during the nighttime singing and preaching service, it was the daytime learning moment, I invited my partners at the bank to come with me. And anytime they come with me, they're talking about their banking services, which is advertising for them.
Right.
And I get money.
I came to your conference.
Yeah.
The banks were there.
Yeah. And I love it. They're wonderful people. They have great products and services. And if you're going to pay anybody, you might as well pay me.
Works for me. So I'm the guy. I'm the person in the cell. I need to be niched down,
You do.
focused and clear. Men, women. I want to help I want to help boys and girls. I want to help men and women.
You actually just describe one person. Give them a name. you go all the way into the neighborhood of make believe, and this is Bob, and he's 27 years old. He lives by the train tracks, and he blah blah blah.
We got to create a form a sheet that they can fill out that'll make them, because it is so hard for people to niche down. Mm-hmm. They think it's not until you start asking me. I've done this 100 times. So I got my idea. I want to help kids. I made my list of things that I'm good at. Well, I can actually help them with. And I got my avatar, 27-year-old, such and such. I got that. Now, what about my nonprofit? How do I set that up? What do I need?
So the nonprofit, and we can tell them everything.
Yeah.
All right. So in order to set up a nonprofit, of course, you can pay somebody to do it. You can pay me to do it. But you can do it yourself. Most of the information regarding nonprofits is public information. But what I found is that even though it's public information, it's not always easily accessible. So you can fill out the form 1023EZ at irs.gov. The form is available. They have a long form and a short form. If your nonprofit plans to make $50,000 or more in the first 3 years, then you have to do the long form. If you're a smaller nonprofit and you're making less than $50,000 and you have less than $200,000 worth of assets, then you might qualify for the short form. If you do the short form, you can be approved within 3 to 4 weeks. The long form might take you 6 months. The long form has a lot of attachments. The short form doesn't really have any attachments. So you fill out that form, and that'll get you your 501c3 status.
What does that mean, 501c3 status?
The IRS tax code, and I'm not a tax professional. This is not tax advice.
I didn't want to hear it from you.
The 501c3 is part of the tax code, and you are categorized as a certain type of entity. So as a 501c3, you qualify under section 501c3 as a nonprofit organization. That means that that donations to you are tax deductible, but there's another secret category inside of 501c3 that most people don't know about. You can either be inside the 501c3, you're either a private foundation or you're a public charity. So if I'm a super rich person, if I'm like Magic Johnson and I have Magic Johnson Foundation, that's not a public charity. That's actually a private foundation, still a 501c3. But it's a private foundation, and in that private foundation, I'm required to give a certain amount of money back. There are a lot of laws that govern it, and I'm saying I don't want grants. I don't need grants as a private foundation.
Right.
Still a 501c3, but in a public charity, you're saying the exact opposite. You're saying we are sustained by grants and donations. So there's some people that fill out their application, they end up being in the wrong category. And so
they check their box. They think they're thinking logically versus business wise.
Yeah. You have to think according to the document itself. And sometimes people make the honest mistake because they get caught up. They read too much into it. The question actually says, will you sustain your program with grants, donations, et cetera, et cetera? And people, no.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I'm going to do this. I don't need it. And so then you off in the wrong direction. But once you get your 501c3 and you're in the public charity category, then you qualify for grants. You qualify for donations, and people that donate to you are they get tax deduction.
The way that works is you create a letter, you put your nonprofit information on there. Somebody sends you money, you send them the letter. At the end of the year, when tax time comes, Johnny, who gave you $1,000, is going to put on his taxes, I gave Joe and Andre $1,000. And he's going to submit that, and he's going to get a tax break. On my end, I got to submit that document when I show my taxes at the end of the year that I'm saying Johnny gave us this money, so it has to balance.
It balances out, and it's a win-win for everybody. So there's I created this thing called the grants calendar. Now I've been doing this for like 20 years. So if you look up grants calendar, the only thing you're going to find is me because I'm the one that created it. But after 20 years, I noticed that there's a rhythm to this thing. There are certain times of the year that certain grants are available. I can go through it right now if that's all right. All right. So during the month of January, that's the time for pledges. That's where you ask people to give $5 or $10 a month. You set up your pledges in January. Matter of fact, I should start in December. December is a time that we call major gifts.
End of the year tax run.
Yeah. So during December, that's when your people that need a tax break, they dealt with their accountant. The accountant say, "Hey, you can do this, or you can give some money to charity." You want to be the charity that they give money to. So that's your end of year giving, major donors. That's December. You want to be in relationship, in connection with people so that they can give you money in December. During the month of January, that's what I call pledges. That's when you want to set up your plan for $5, $10 a month pledges. February, that's when bank grants become available. So February, you want to be ready for your bank grants. March, foundation grants. April, foundation grants. Now, foundations are the nonprofits that have received money all year long, and this is their time to give out money. 64% of all grants come from foundations. The next big chunk of grants come from federal government. But March and April is foundation grants. May is when you see the most federal grants be announced. Now, federal grants are available all year round, but May is the time that the newest ones and the most of them are announced. And then June, state grants. July, you want to have your board meeting. August, if you're in a city that's less than 200,000 people, you want to contact Community Economic Development because the Community Economic Development grants are available. In September, your local nonprofits like United Way, American Red Cross, Salvation Army, they're giving out grants because they're having these galas in October and November. They're going to give out checks for $5,000 and $10,000 and have testimonials. Well, the reason they're giving out the $5,000 and $10,000 is because they announced those grants in September. So you want to be ready for that. During the month of October, banks are closing out their fiscal year. Most of them have their fiscal year ending October 31st. So what you want to do is prepare your sponsorship letter for those banks in October so that they can give you what they have left over and they can plan for you for their next year before their budget even opens. Then during November, you want to be ready for Giving Tuesday, which is the Tuesday right after Thanksgiving. That is driven largely by social media. And so people are going to give because you're on social media, and there's always a big drive to give to nonprofits the week after Thanksgiving. And then you're back at December with major gifts. So I'll go through it again. December, major gifts. January, pledges. February, bank grants. March, foundations. April, foundations. May, state grants. June, federal grants. May, federal grants. June, state grants. July, board meeting. August, cities smaller than 200,000, community economic development. If you're in a one that's smaller, then they're open in December. The bigger ones are open in August. September, local grants. October, sponsorships with banks. November, Giving Tuesday, and you're back at December.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the math. I'm saying I did a show with my guy Pistol Pete. I said you have to talk spreadsheet.
Yeah.
You can't talk emotions. Oh, I want to go save people. Oh, I want to change the world. Oh, I know because I've been through it. That was spreadsheet. Yo, Dre, what do you mean? That was he has a spreadsheet in his office that breaks down. His staff responds and moves. It's December. We need to be doing this.
Yeah.
It's January. We need to be doing it. And he's not the only one. A lot of agencies and companies have their annual chart that they run their companies on.
Yeah. It's the strategy. I mean, we call it our giving plan, and as nonprofits, this is how we plan our work for the year. So we are raising money all year round. It's just different types of money from different buckets.
See, in prison, we plan like a day or 2 days at a time. So now you're talking about a whole year.
We plan a whole year in advance. Matter of fact, if I ever don't get a grant awarded this year, whoever did get the grant, I'm going to request a copy of the award-winning grant, and I'll have a year
to plan
for next year.
There's no grant. Get mad?
There's no grant that always get mad. Anytime I don't get something, I get mad. I'm like, man, what are they playing with? But I've never not gotten a grant twice. Like I've never
got denied twice.
Well, except for NASDAQ. NASDAQ, they getting on my nerves. This year number 2, but I'm gonna get them. I've never gotten denied twice except from NASDAQ.
So my board of directors, I'm sitting in prison. Mm-hmm. So I have this concept. I understand my niche. I understand my avatar. I understand my SIP target market. I got my things that I'm going to do. Now I got to set up a nonprofit. I got to actually create the agency. We didn't talk about creating the nonprofit. You go to the irs.gov.
Actually, that's step number 3. So creating the agency, step 1, you want to come up with a name. I suggest you avoid the word foundation because that's going to put you in the wrong category. So step 1 to create the agency, you go to State Corporation Commission in your state. The same place that creates the LLC, you create your nonprofit. It's probably going to charge you somewhere between $25 and $100. You fill out the application, and you're getting your articles of incorporation for a nonprofit. Step 2, you get your EIN. That's free. You go to irs.gov, apply for the EIN. Do not let them mail it to you. Click on the PDF, get it immediately, and boom, you have it. And then you do the IRS form 1023.
You do the IRS form, you do the EIN. You have 2 documents. You walk over to a bank, you can open a bank account up.
Yeah.
Now you're in business.
Yep. You open that bank account up, and some people stop at just open a bank account, and they don't at least ask, do y'all support nonprofits?
Ask the bank.
Ask the bank. Matter of fact, there's a law. The law says that every bank in the country, this is called the Community Reinvestment Act, every bank in the country is required to give money back to the community. Every bank. How they give money back is up to them, but they're required to give money back. So most banks have a grants office, a sponsorship office. They have an application. And so what I used to do the old-fashioned way, I could type in the name of a bank, any bank in America, and the word grants, and it comes up with their grants and their applications, their cycles, their priorities, everything. But then I designed the software because I was tired of doing the old-fashioned way.
So you done went and got tech on us.
Oh, yeah. So my software can write any grant for you now.
So I'm sitting there taking pencil and paper. They stressing themselves out trying to write all this down. Rewind the tape, writing that back. Stop hitting the button. I'm paying for the streaming. I'm saying Second Chance University, real talk. So they've been sitting there writing all this stuff down, and you neglected to say you have a software that does it all.
Well, you got to teach long division first.
No, you don't. We flunked out of school. I did.
Oh, man. The thing is, while other people, I guess folks can tell I'm a nerd, and people used to pay me to do their homework. I guess they still pay me to do their homework. It's just a whole different way. But it's cool. It's a win-win. I wasn't good at sports.
Tell me about the software. I don't want to care about your baseball game.
Nah, I wasn't good at nothing. But I'm good at paperwork. And
I believe that.
Yeah.
I want to know about the software.
So this is what I did with the software.
Paperwork.
This thing that I told you about your program and the funding source and the city's strategic plan.
Right.
I put that into the computer. And so now what the computer does, it searches those things for you. So all you have to do is you have to fill out your profile one time, and then you say what grant you want. And then my software will go and find the information. It'll compare it to your mission statement. It'll compare it to the city's plan, and it'll spit out what you need.
Y'all owe me. I'm saying, y'all listen, for that one right there. Yeah, listen. When I come through,
I never told this to nobody.
When I come through, when y'all pull up, if I ain't got a bag of cookies and some squeezed cheese, you know what I'm saying, some noodles,
and summer
I'm out. And some summer sausage. I'm not a macro guy. You know what I'm saying? Listen, y'all owe me for that one.
Yeah.
There's a fee for that one. It's called some, you know what I'm saying, I want some honey bun, some cookies. You know what I'm saying?
Man, look, how long did you heat your honey buns up? Mine had 13 seconds.
I just ate them.
Oh, nah.
We didn't have microwaves back in the day. So I went to jail in the 80s. It wasn't no microwaves.
Oh, nah. As soon as I came back, they did count at 5 o'clock.
You went in the Feds. Feds do count at 4 o'clock.
Oh, no, I was in Feds, Edgefield. It did at 5.
Dude, when I was in Terre Haute, Lewisburg, Atlanta.
Man, I heard Terre Haute didn't have air.
Nah, you got to buy air. If you ain't somebody, we was kind of E-block. We played cards all day.
I played cards.
No, in Terre Haute, if you've ever been in Terre Haute in the 80s, E-block was where everybody went to play. That's all. It's like going to Vegas.
Oh.
Dudes would come from other blocks down to E-block to play cards.
Just to play.
That's where the big games were.
Yeah, no.
There was a hustle. Dudes would stand around the card game and just run to go get sandwiches and sodas, and that's their hustle. It's like, used to be when I was a kid.
Oh, that was their job.
It wasn't their job, it was their hustle.
Well, I mean, yeah.
When I was a kid, we used to go down, we on a couple of dollars, you go down to the barber shop, and the old heads would send you to run to the store for them. Go get me some cigarettes, go get me a bag of, and you would run to give you some change. Mm-hmm. I wasn't my hustle. I used to make wine in Terre Haute. I was a wine dude.
I did braids and all the dreads.
Oh, yeah.
It was 500 people on campus. So I did that, and I was the town driver, so.
No, everybody wanted to drink when I was there.
Yeah.
They were stressed out.
We was leading up to visitation. So visitation be Friday night, Saturday, blah, blah, blah. So Thursday, I'm out on the yard.
Doing it.
Yeah.
I ain't got time. But y'all owe me. So you got a software that reads everything.
Yeah.
They fill out your profile.
Yeah.
And the profile matches up with everything.
You fill out your profile one time.
Does it matter what state they're in?
No, don't matter what state.
Doesn't matter what they're What about if we have the same focus?
Oh, it don't matter. Even if we have the same focus, we're in different states. And even if we're in different states, even if we were in the same state, we're in a different city. Even if we're in a different city, we might be going after a different funding source. Like it has to be these 3 points. The same city, the same mission statement, the same
and the same size agency.
And the same size agency. And that's highly unlikely.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
that's my software.
How do people find them? As much as they want to hear about your baseball career and your braiding skills, how do they get access to the software? What does that look like?
Well, you can go to my website, Six Figure Grants, and you can click on the link. You can test out the software, see a free demo. If you wanted to meet with me, you can click on that link too.
You about to get 650,000 clicks.
Well, that's cool. We can handle it.
So if I'm in prison and my people set up the nonprofit, can they start it? Can I be a board member and in prison?
Yes, you can. So you can be a board member while you're in prison. You probably don't want all your board members to be in prison.
Sorry, homies.
So we have board members that are young people, like under 18. In fact, when you're applying for grants, some of the questions will ask you about the diversity of your board members. And when you can talk about like the diversity, like different income levels, different education levels, different backgrounds, that's good. I have a background that includes prison. So in my grant applications, I say that I have lived experience. I'm part of the reentry community. That works for me and not against me. And some people try to avoid their history. And I know you want to change your behaviors and change your decision making, but you are who you are, and you did what you did, and you learned what you learned. So you have to kind of figure out how to make the best out of the whole package. Take what it was and do it.
My board, I have a veteran. Mm-hmm. Can't go no place without the Marines. They love the Marines. I got me.
Yeah.
And I got somebody from the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
So it's like, bye-bye.
That diversity, you want to check out.
I got a man. I got a Marine. I mean, we got.
Yeah.
I looked at all the categories that get special treatment.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, veterans get special treatment. I got a veteran.
Yep.
Women get special treatment. I get a woman. You know what I'm saying? People in the LGBTQ plus, there's some couple more letters, excuse me, they get special treatment.
They do.
So I went and said, okay, ex-offenders, black male.
It's a strategy.
Hey, listen, when you put together your nonprofit, you're going to have a board of directors. You can put your mother, your sister, your cousin, your aunt. It's all one family tree. And as a funder, when they look at your nonprofit and they see it's your whole family, everybody's a Johnson, it's not a nonprofit.
Same last name, same address. It's a problem.
They're going to look and say, that's not a nonprofit. That's a family business disguised as a nonprofit.
Yeah. And you can get in trouble. You don't need no problems. You don't need no problems. And you don't have to do that. It's actually in your best interest to reach out and have some people. It's just 3 people. Get some people involved.
My board has 3 people right now, and we're going to up it to 5.
Yeah.
But again, strategically, I am looking for, you know what I'm saying, people in certain spaces. Now, some of the board members are there for diversity. Some of the board members are there for fundraising.
Yes.
So I need, you know what I'm saying, a rich white guy on my board. I need, I'm saying, a Asian person on my board because they speak to their communities.
They do. And there are some grants that they have requirements that are not written out. And I know them I know these because I built relationships with them, but it's not on the application. There are some organizations that will only give you money if you have a volunteer that came from their organization.
Gotcha.
So there's one bank in particular. They ask, did anybody refer you? And if you leave that, it's an optional question. It's not even a required question. If you leave it blank, you won't get funded.
They want to make sure their people's watching what's going on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of companies, they want their employees to do volunteer hours.
They want them to.
And if you take my employees for volunteer hours, we'll give
Then
you money
we'll give
to
you
make
money.
Because
Then we give you money.
benefits their company.
There's one grant from FedEx. They give out a grant every December. And the grant is evaluated by the employees. And you just have to be referred by an employee and you get $50,000. Now, the employees vote. But it's really just, I'm an employee, you're an employee. Hey, I heard about this nonprofit. I think y'all should vote for them. You can't apply for it unless an employee tells you about it. And you don't, of course, get to be voted on unless an employee recommends you. So when you think about your board and when you think about your volunteers and committees, everybody has a place in your nonprofit. You just have to decide where you put them. Now, the board of directors has power, very real power. So you want to put people that have something to contribute and that really believe in your mission. But if you want somebody involved, but you don't need them to have so much power, maybe they need to be a volunteer. Maybe they need to be a committee member. They're still involved, and you still can connect to their connections. Like, you don't want to just talk to people. You want to talk through people. You want to make sure that you're connecting with who they're connecting with.
So having done time in your federal prison playing pickleball, so we down in the,
driving.
We in the,
and I taught. I guess I had 3 jobs.
Yeah, okay.
Dreads, driving.
Listen, we ain't rocking with the
and I
federal
taught the
camps.
GD. Man, my people were smart. Well, we got them there.
Let me see. I just got a bias against people in federal camps. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I did level 5. I never went behind lower than a 4 in the feds.
Because I was the town driver, I had to drive them like when they got out.
Now you showing out.
Yeah. I had a key and a car. And I drove.
I had a cell in a sink.
Nah. I drove every day.
So, but the question is, having come out of prison, federal or state or county, have you run into any barriers handling this type of money, dealing with these types of people because of your background?
There's one grant that I ran into problems with. One grant. But there's a way around it. So
of all the grants, there's only one you ran into.
There's only one. There's just one.
So my thing is just skip that one.
I
Not for you, but
I still got the funding. I'm kind of stubborn. Like I told you, you can't tell me no, like more than once.
So was it your background or was this how you applied?
It was my background. So I'm on some list. I don't remember what the list is called. I'm on some,
like a no-fly list.
Yeah, some kind of list. And so this federal grant, there are grants that come from the federal government to the city, and it's considered a federal pass-through. So if you don't qualify for that federal grant, you can't qualify for the pass-through. Right. Because it's still federal. They just passing it through. And so I don't qualify for that federal grant. And I didn't apply for it. I applied to the city. And the city said, because of my charge, I can't do it. So what I ended up doing, I separated from the organization.
You had somebody else apply for it?
Yeah. So somebody else applied for it, and the work still got done. So that was cool. I mean, the thing is, the money doesn't come to my pocket anyway. I really needed the money to do the thing. I make money by helping people, so I'm cool.
So on the software, is that free or you charge for that?
Oh, the software costs. It costs a lot.
I mean, not for you to build, for them to use. Because you just made me not want to call you. It costs a lot. Like, we was going to rock with it. So is the cost of using the software as a client? Mm-hmm. I hired you direct, so I don't even do the software.
Yeah.
It's called done for you. I'm lazy.
Yeah. I do it. But the people that get the software it is $5,000 for the year. Which adds up, I don't know, what is that per month? Like $300 or $400 a month. But you can run your whole grants department from it. But the people that go to this website, you'll be able to click on the link and they can do it for $197 a month.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting on what, like 60, 70 grand?
Yeah.
Our first run, listen,
that's the first one.
And that's it, and just keeps going. what I did, because I'm thinking forward, I hired you in your company to run my nonprofit, my nonprofit's grant cycle. And then because you have a whole team.
Yes.
So I hired somebody that's your team. He just came out of training. I hired a grant writer, or you found him for me. I hired him. Your team trained him. So I got a full-time grant writer on your team for me. So it's going to be like, if you were doing 2 a month, now I'm going to be getting 10 a month.
Yeah. It really is about volume. Like, because you're not going to get every grant that you apply for. And you want to make sure that you're following up. So if you ever don't get funded, you want to follow up with that agency and ask why, ask what they were looking for, just ask for some feedback. And you get that feedback when you build relationship. The other thing you want to do, which is why it's important to do what you did and have that grant writer, hire a team, you want to know the inside track beforehand. You want to know what they're really looking for. And for most grants, if you just email the person ahead of time and ask them, they'll tell you. They want to give away the money. Most of them are required to give the money.
My thing is, having written grants before, it's not like you can have 3 people on staff. You're the outreach worker. I run the building. He does whatever. And then we're also going to write grants.
Nah.
That grant thing is a job unto itself.
Yeah.
Between writing it, sending it in, doing the meetings, doing the follow-up, and doing it. And the evaluations. You have to do the end of year report and keep track of the budget. It's not overwhelming, but it needs a dedicated person.
It's a job. And the software reason that we set it at $5,000 a year is because to hire a grant writer for the year,
it's $60,000.
It's $60,000. And so we was like, if we could put this into the computer, it would eliminate the need for somebody to have to hire a grant writer. You can just hire a person that can manage the software, and if they follow these steps, they can function like a grant writer without you having to spend $60,000.
Other than the writing, does it do the back end?
It does not. It doesn't. It does do emails. It has emails and correspondence, sponsorships, grants.
But it doesn't do asks for money, but it doesn't do the back end.
It doesn't report on the money. But I might need to upgrade. I might need to add that.
Definitely, 1,000%. If you have a system where you can do the reporting part, I mean, you have to do an end of year report, financial statements. You know what I'm saying? So you can actually build in bookkeeping almost as a function, because again, I have outreach workers. You know what I'm saying, who great at outreach, they're horrible at paperwork, they're horrible at reporting. So if I could give you $5,000 to get me the money, now I need to give you another $5,000 to manage the money. At least to manage the paperwork.
I might need to add that.
100%. Because we had a department.
To us, it's just another report. And the software theoretically can write any report.
Because you give me the money, but I don't do all the paperwork, I'm not gonna get the money again.
Yeah.
You're not. They'll just if they give you $100,000 or $50,000 and you do the work, you don't do the paperwork, you're not going to jail. You know what I'm saying? As long as you need to just go buy a Benz with the money, you go. But they won't give you the money again if you don't submit your paperwork.
Yeah. If you don't submit that paperwork, they won't give you that money again, and they'll put you on their list. And if they know other people, because the fundraising community is really small, they'll move your name around, and you won't get any money.
Gotcha. So can we put something up on the screen? It's a website. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to keep talking while you pull the website up. So Brother Jay is in the building. So I was just in Texas. We got to go back to Louisiana. I'm on the way to Florida. I mean, when we got together last night, when he started to talk, I'm like, I got so many friends. I consider you a friend that do so many things that we're going to have to start a whole podcast series.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down.
And the fact that you used to be locked up is a plus, because people are like, man, I need y'all to get off the he needed to be locked up part. Would y'all want this information if he wasn't locked up? Because when I heard it the first time, I didn't know you was in jail. I'm like, I want that.
Yeah, the information works whether you've been in jail or not. It's real. It's
information
real.
is information. You got the website? CECP.co. I created a relationship with an association, and they give away money for it. They give away money. That's their business. All the companies get together and they give away money. I seen it. I got put onto it, and I got in it. And I'm a fellow. I actually work there, and I help them. Anytime they want to give money in my space, it's like, hey, call Andre, and we're about to do this thing around prison or the hood or whatever. So right there, scroll down some. Keep going. Right, bang. That's how much money they give away. Can you see that? Can you zoom in on that? You got it?
Oh.
That's how much money they give away a year. $23 billion is what. So I'm still from the block. I'm saying I was at the sports bar yesterday watching the game. I'm saying, so it's not like I live with these folks and I'm like all in. But when I found out about them, I didn't know they existed. I didn't know there was an association that gives away $23 billion.
Yeah, it's a lot of money out there.
And I'm in the room now. I'm trying to get my nonprofit together and my stuff in line so I can get. I'm not getting any of this money yet because I don't qualify. They give away mega grants, so I'm trying to figure out how I get lined up to be part of this. Other thing you need to know: they're going to give out a grant for $100 million. Your agency is too small to get $100 million,
Right?
But this agency can get the $100 million. You can tap in with them and be part of
their budget.
Be part of their budget. You don't have to be the lead. You can just be part of.
There's some people that
we good.
Some people that don't want to run a nonprofit. They don't want to do the paperwork. You don't have to. You open your for-profit company and just partner with a nonprofit. Be part of their budget. If I specialize in just CPR and first aid, that's my for-profit company. All I got to do is be on every nonprofit's budget, and when they get the grant, I get paid.
So, as a service provider, you don't have to be the nonprofit, but you can be the service for the nonprofit.
Yeah. There's a guy, a Hispanic guy. He teaches flagging. For the traffic flag.
Yeah.
Stop and start, stop and go.
Class for that?
Yes, and he teaches it.
I ain't mad at him.
And he gets paid $4,000 a pop
to teach that class.
And he never wrote a grant in his life, but he part of every grant in the region.
Anybody needs flagging, they just bring him in.
They just go to him.
So he almost, if they get the grant and they subcontract to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in our grants, I'm gonna make it make sense to you. Every grant you get, you're working with kids. So you got to take them to the baseball game, take them to the park, take them whatever. How do you get them there?
Yeah.
You take them in a van.
Yeah, you got to pay for the van.
What do?
You
rent it. So
rent
Avis, Hertz, National, Budget, they all have 15 passenger vans. So
part of the reason they have them
is for us.
Is for us.
So you get the grant, and part of the grant is taking these kids places. We go right over to Hertz, and they get the money every time we have transportation.
Every time. So what if you opened a car lot and instead of only selling, there's a program that actually gets grants to give away cars. It's a car lot. Half the lot is for giveaways. Half the lot is for sale. But all of it is covered by grants. The grant actually buys the car so they can give it away. But what if you opened a used car lot or a new car lot? It doesn't really matter. And all you did was supply the vehicles to nonprofits, the minivans, the 15-passenger vans, the stuff that they needed to travel. But the grant money that came to that nonprofit is now coming to you for the service you provide.
Even if you don't do vans, the example was we would get this grant, but transportation is in there. We write it in, and we would look up Avis and Hertz's numbers and just add it to the grant. The same way Avis is part of every grant we ever wrote, because I work with Avis and Hertz. You know what I'm saying? You can be part, like your flagger guy.
Yeah.
He's
a line item on the grant.
He's a line item on the grant. You can either be a line item if you don't want to be the grant.
Yeah.
You can be the grant and you're going to
If you don't want to be the lead, you can be a line item. One of the grants I got was for $300,000 for a CDL apprenticeship program. So the $300,000, part of it paid for me to get people trained in CDL, a staff member to support them, like a case manager, paid for what we call barrier removal, anything that they needed while they were in the class. And I was able to take $120,000 and buy the tractor trailer. And the grant paid for all of that.
If I was in Brooklyn, all my Brooklyn brothers, what's in them pockets?
Nothing. I kept zero.
What you got in them pockets?
I kept zero.
No, I meant right now. I ate to my girl, they be like, yo, you from Brooklyn? I'm like, nah, I got a lot of homies in Brooklyn. My ex-wife is actually from Brooklyn. But
okay.
I guess she rubbed off on me.
But the problem that we were solving was that there was a whole bunch of new construction coming, and they had a lack of CDL drivers, like to do dump trucks and to do other stuff. So we were solving a citywide, regional problem, and they gave us the money quickly.
Because it was their problem.
Yeah.
When it's your problem, you want it fixed.
It's their problem. And the tractor trailer, we bought it. Now, we own it, but we rent it to a black-owned company. I say rent, but they're only paying like $1 a year.
Because it's already paid for.
Yeah. And for us, we report on the mileage and the number of jobs that's created and the hours in training.
And you get more additional money. It's in use.
Yes.
It's being used. So it's more valuable to you to get the numbers than a check from the company.
For me, it is.
Yeah,
for me,
you.
it is. Yeah. For me, the outcomes matter. Like it's what we call a change in condition. I'm the writer. I'm the fundraiser. I want to know that the money that I'm helping raise is making a change. And if it makes that change, then I'm good. If it don't make the change, then we got a problem.
We got a problem.
We got a real problem. But there are people that need dollars now. I think probably a little more long term than other people. I think in a different way. But the people that need dollars now, is what I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Second Chance University, Prison Master Class. We are in the building. We have brother, I call him Pastor Jay Hackett. You know what I'm saying, because you got to hear him preach.
Oh, right.
You have to hear him preach. Now, what I'm saying at the end of every episode, this man needs to come to your facility and get him a whiteboard. He can teach in real time. You can ask your questions in real time about your city in real time. I'm saying, how does this work in Louisiana, Baton Rouge versus New Orleans? How does this work in Oklahoma, in Tulsa versus Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
How does this work in Philly versus Chester?
Right.
I mean, Camden versus Newark. You know what I'm saying? How does it work in, you know what I'm saying, versus Brooklyn versus Buffalo?
Every city is different. Every city has different problems, but it's all public information, and the formula that I use applies everywhere. It's what I've done for the last 20 years. It's what I'm an expert at. It's the thing I do the best. There's a lot that I can't do, but this is my thing.
Question. I was talking to a brother the other day from North Carolina, and I know this firsthand. If I wanted to set up a program to take ex-offenders, people who've come home, justice impacted, I call them, we're prisoners, inmates, whatever, depends on what status you're on. We come home, exposure, in my mind, is the greatest thing you can give somebody.
Yes.
As a teenager, before I went to prison, I won an exchange student scholarship, went to London, and had a great time. And it opened my brain up, even though my mind didn't open up. So I would want to take people coming home from prison, put them on a plane, let's go to Brazil, let's go to London, let's go to Paris, let's go to Africa, let's go to Italy. And I believe that trip will fundamentally change their mindset and expose them to greater things. Would a grant pay for that? Absolutely.
We wouldn't write it that I want to take prisoners to Africa.
No, I mean that's what
we would do. We would write it as community engagement. We might even write it as a educational grant or a historic grant. Might if they're starting businesses, we would call it economic development.
Oh, they have economic conferences all over the world.
Yeah.
So I could just say that again. It's not what you say, but how you say it.
Right.
Instead of just wanting to take them to get the experience of being outside of the country and see the world, I want to take these 15 people who are going to be entrepreneurs and business leaders to an economic summit just happens to be held.
Happen to be in Spain or Italy or Rome or whatever. Absolutely.
Level up.
Absolutely.
Is that easier than just saying, I just want to take them?
It is. It's easier, and it's what we call allowable. In grants, they have allowable costs and unallowable. So if it's a program, then it's allowable. If you just want to go somewhere, you just need sponsorships.
The economic summits that they had. I was in Kenya back a couple months ago, and they had a summit there. And I got there like during the summit. They're like, and I was in Ethiopia. They had a summit there.
Yeah.
And what was I? I was in Bangkok. And I was out getting some clothes, and I ran into a brother. He was there for a summit.
Yeah.
In Bangkok, Thailand.
So the way I would do that, I would do a 6-week, because the summit is coming up. You probably planned it 6 months to a year ahead of time or whatever.
Just ask for the money and say, boom.
Ask for the money. But do like an 8-week program that ends with the summit.
And that's why he's in the building. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I love traveling, and I want you to travel. And, Dre, I can't go out of the country. Let me tell you this. If you are not on supervision, probation, parole, and you don't owe $2,500 in child support, you can get a passport. So the day you clear supervision and the day your child support is under $2,500, you can go back down to the post office, apply, and get your passport and have it back in about 3 or 4 weeks. Then you can travel anywhere. I've been all over the world. The only place I had an issue was Canada because they do a more intense check based on proximity.
Yeah.
If you fly all the way to Australia, you ain't got no guns, you ain't got no drama.
But
you can drive from Detroit to Canada in 5 minutes.
My judge, when I was on probation, my judge approved me to go to London.
It's again, those are special circumstances. Can they approve? Yes. You can get a passport if on probation or supervision, but they have to approve it. Which the probation officer have to approve it, or parole has to approve it. Then they have to approve for the travel.
Okay.
So that's like a lot of barriers.
Yeah. But
I tend not to
send
people. I tend not to send people into the courthouse unnecessarily. Wait till you get off supervision. That's what I did. I got off the day I got off. I applied the next day for my passport.
Yeah.
And boom, because when it goes in, all they check is you're on supervision. Is they run a background check to see if you're on supervision. Now I have to say this because dudes will get mad at me. I said it when I was in Texas. I don't know if sex offenders qualify. I have to go find out because I can give this information when I give this information.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a barrier to sex offenders or certain types of sex offenders getting passports and traveling, I don't know. I don't have that case or those type of cases. So I just know robberies, murder, armed robbery. You know what I'm saying? Basic stuff. You know what I'm saying? It, but sex crimes, I don't know. So I can say this to anybody else, minus the sex crime. When you clear supervision and you don't have that child support thing, you can get yours. I have to actually go do the research so I can let those brothers and sisters know, hey, there's a barrier, there's not a barrier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know that's just a different category. So don't be discouraged. Just know we're going to go check it out for you. But for the most part, you go abroad.
You can do
baby.
it. You should. You should. I mean, life is short. You already did something, then you already did time. What about doing the rest of your life? Like, what are you going to do with the rest of it?
Man, I'm going back to Brazil. I
think they want to go with you.
You might want to come. I believe every adult male in America, I can't speak for no place else. I'm a U.S. citizen, born and raised. Every adult male, at least one time in his life, needs to go to Brazil. Rio, to be exact. You know what I'm saying? It's the most beautiful place I've ever been.
A beautiful
It's
sunset.
the most fun I've ever had. I mean, it is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not Statue of the Redeemers. Like wherever you're standing in Brazil, you're like you're in a postcard.
Oh,
You
really?
are in a postcard wherever you're standing.
Yeah.
And it's like the beach is like 30,000 miles long. When I was there, it was like January, which is their summertime. There's 1,000 people on the beach playing soccer, playing volleyball. And nothing for nothing, I couldn't do this. It's no shirts for the dudes. Every dude in the country doesn't wear a shirt. They all, I mean, I ain't hating, I ain't stalking. I'm like, damn, I got kind of, I put the chair low because I got a gun. The whole country is running around shirtless.
Man.
And all the chicks just got on bikinis, and it's just like, they're just on some way chilling.
Yeah. I never been to Brazil. I went to Colombia.
Claro que si tú sabes, yo voy allá.
Yeah.
Yo tengo una casa en Medellín. But yeah, I got a house in Colombia. But
okay.
I've been to both.
Well, next time I go to Medellin, I'm going to stay at your house.
Easy. I'm going back next month.
Oh, well, I can't go
when
next
you
month.
go. But my thing is this: two places. I've been to Africa, love the motherland. Greece, straight out of a postcard. Switzerland, straight out of a postcard. Geneva, just straight out of a postcard. I mean, it's not even real. You're gonna think it's a green screen.
Man,
if you go to
that
Geneva and take a picture, they're gonna say that's a green screen.
Man,
that's AI. It's literally you go to Geneva, Switzerland, and take a picture. They're gonna say you weren't there. That's AI. It's that beautiful.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I go to Africa a lot, but I would fly through London or fly through Amsterdam and never went out really.
Oh, that's the whole point of layovers. I just came back from Korea. Crazy food in Korea. Listen.
Man, that street food.
No, I don't do street food. I go to restaurants.
Yeah, that stuff look crazy.
This is one thing we're gonna say to you before you start traveling the world. Don't eat street food unless you got 3 days to sit in the bathroom. Listen, I was in the Philippines, I was in Thailand, I was in Africa. I don't rock with street food, not because I don't feel for the people. Their tolerance and their bacteria is different than ours.
It's different.
So they're used to drinking this type of water that has a little bit more chemicals in it. They're used to. Used to.
Some of my staff is in Philippines. Actually, all my staff is in Philippines.
Yeah, I went over there to meet myself.
Man, look, he told me that they had pig blood soup. I said, man, get out of here.
They eat duck eggs.
It's crazy.
They eat duck eggs like we eat pickles.
It's crazy. They eat fried chitlins.
was it the Philippines? Fried
Hey,
chicken.
what?
I don't know.
Chitlins.
Who?
Chitlins.
Yeah.
Pig intestines.
I know. Listen.
He said they eat fried chitlins, stewed chitlins, baked chitlins.
Because you poor, you eat it. That's why we was eating it back in the day.
Get out of here.
Every McDonald's you went into, I went to McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, they all sell fried chicken and rice. You walk into the Philippines, you walk into to McDonald's, they have fried chicken and rice on the menu.
I went to college in Ghana, and my favorite is this some good chicken and rice. It was fried chicken too, called Frankie's, and they
Trinidad is beast mode with chicken.
But when I was in Kenya, they had this fish. I don't even know what it's called. I don't even know how they do it, but they cook it in a pot. It is crispy and wet at the same time.
My favorite restaurant on the planet. What's your favorite restaurant on the planet?
In Kenya, called Carnivore.
Pork Pit, Mobay, and they make fish, chicken, everything, but it's called the Pork Pit in Montego Bay, Jamaica. If you said to me like, Puffy made them dudes go walk get cheesecake, man, y'all going on down to Mobay, man, get me some. You know what I'm saying they cook the stuff on some bamboo. It's crazy.
At Carnivore, they it's right at the edge of the game park, and so they got.
I was there.
Oh yeah, so I
missed it.
I love it.
I missed the restaurant. I didn't know. I wasn't hip. I'm going back.
Yeah, it's they got the monkeys and the alligators all around. But it's right at the edge of the game park, and they cooking all the meat. It's Carnivore.
Got you. Stuff that died inside. They put it out cooking. I mean, the dude was like, "Yeah, we're going to the safari in the city." It didn't make sense to me.
Oh,
The Nairobi National Park. I'm thinking it's like a zoo, like Boston Franklin Park Zoo or Bronx Zoo. Man, this thing was like 2,000 acres.
Yeah,
but it's at the edge of the city.
It is.
You drive
it's
to the end of the city. It's in the city.
Safari Park is right. I mean, I have a school in Nairobi. So Safari Park, it's a hotel that's right at the edge. And so right at Safari Park is this restaurant called Carnivore.
Yeah. I mean, we walk into the park, I'm thinking this is going to be some zoo stuff from back in the... Stop letting your old thinking take over your new life.
It's huge. I remember the first time I saw a giraffe. Well, I mean, of course you think you see them in the zoo.
Oh, I saw him.
Man.
I saw. We were like close enough to the lions. I said, man, can he get me? Because I you know me, I climb up on top of the truck. I'm taking pictures with my phone, like pow, pow, pow. I'm looking. He's sitting right there. He's like about
chilling.
He's close enough to jump.
Yeah.
And I know these things jump, and I'm thinking, can I slide down in here fast enough if he decides to jump? But nonprofits, international programming. Mm-hmm. Can I raise money here and run programs abroad?
Yes, you can. Every grant is going to. So there are two types of funding really. There's restricted and unrestricted. So with restricted funding, you have to follow their rules for spending. Unrestricted funding, you can spend it on anything. And so I was looking at a agency last week. They gave out $178 million in grants last year, and that's about the amount that they do each year. And all their grants are unrestricted. And when I look at their giving history, you can see that they give for international stuff. So that was cool. But the ones that are restricted, they'll tell you if you cannot use it for international such and such. So,
game changer. We right here. Y'all are right here. Second Chance U. We coming. We here. We ain't coming no more. We are officially here. Second Chance U University is open. Our first visiting professor, Brother Jay Hackett, a.k.a. Pastor Jay. You know what I'm saying? Money Man Jay. You know what I'm saying? Money making Mitch. We got money making Jay. You know what I'm saying? But real talk. Second Chance University is an agency created to help you access information and inspiration to level yourself up to another height. And we just want to say thank you for coming.
Man, absolutely.
I think we might have to do another episode, man. I think they want another episode.
I'm down if y'all down.
You catch, this is episode 1. There will be episode 2 because he has so much information, man, and we got to get back to it. So we want to do nuts and bolts in the next one. You know
okay.
We're just going to do nuts and bolts, and I'm going to shut up, and you're just going to run the play, and I'm just going to sit here and take notes, too, because I want some of this money myself.
All right, now.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, Andre Norman, President, Second Chance University. If you want Brother Jay to come to your facility, y'all need to write your warden or superintendent and say, hey, We saw this brother on the tablet. He's teaching good stuff. Can you invite him down here? And the answer, I already know. You came with me to Louisiana.
Yeah.
How many? You came to 2 or 3 prisons?
2 of them.
We did. Yeah. He came to Louisiana, DCI, and it was DCI Hunt. Don't get me to. I don't remember.
Yeah,
prison.
those are the only 2.
No.
That I went to.
You didn't. I don't think you. I forget. I know you went to DCI. You know what I'm saying? Then Cottonport and Hunt. I listen. Excuse me.
I didn't go to one where they was riding on horses.
No, we didn't do the rodeo.
Man, look.
They was out in the fields though.
What is this?
It's called Down South Prison. But seriously, we want to come in person. And as I say, this is the stuff that you need, not want. This is the stuff that you need. How to actually fund your dreams and nonprofits. You can do it from inside a cell. You can get instructions to your family on the street. They can access the website, the software now, and get started. This is a get started now. And I believe, I'm going to be transparent, if you're doing this, you're less likely to be hustling in jail, banging heads in jail, and flipping out on the staff in jail and having meltdowns, because when you have a purpose and you have a passion, it creates a pathway.
It does.
And the pathway is not to solitary confinement. It's not, you know what I'm saying, to the box or back to court. We want to create a purpose, a passion, and a pathway. And we're going to come back and do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, write your warden. Tell him you want Brother Jay to come down. Second Chance University in the building. Till the next time, peace.